Hello, everybody. This is Mr. Steffler at Clintondale Middle School in room 111, and we're going to talk about our 8th grade social studies test tomorrow for Chapter 11. Chapter 11 starts out talking about pretty much the domestic issues in American history. It talks about the Washington presidency, the Adams presidency, pretty much. So let's get going on what's on the test. The first 3 questions on the test are about the Washington presidency. Starts out talking about what the president's cabinet is, and what the president's cabinet is it is the collection of the department heads of each of the departments: the Department of War, the Department of State, and the Department of the Treasury. And each one of those department heads is called the secretary. So, like Jefferson is the Secretary of State; he's in charge of the State Department. And when they all get together, that is the cabinet. It also talks about the Whiskey Rebellion. Talked about this. There's a picture of it. Washington, as an old man, leads 13,000 men to crush this small rebellion. And the reason that he did that was because he saw it as a threat to the national government and wanted to show how powerful the national government was. As Washington became older and wanted to kind of retire and get out of politics, he left the presidency after 2 terms, and he left us with some advice in his farewell address. Don't let the country be destroyed by political parties, torn apart by infighting. So he wanted to make sure that we didn't destroy the country by having political parties or foreign alliances, which is going to come in the next week when we talk about foreign affairs. The next part of the test has to do with the differences between the Federalists and the Republicans. So this is something that we've studied a lot. We did the essay on it. The Federalists wanted the rich and well-born to be the ones who were in charge of the country. The Republicans basically was more for a balanced democracy, small farmers, agriculture, these things. The biggest argument between the Republicans and the Federalists is how powerful the government should be. The Republicans were very afraid of a powerful government basically becoming the same type government that they have in Great Britain, and the Republicans were afraid of what happened in France with mob rule and really no government at all to control the people from just doing whatever they want. So this brings about Citizen Genet, who comes here and causes all kinds of trouble, rabble-rousing. So then Adams passes the Alien and Sedition Acts. Now, the Alien and Sedition Acts basically made it a crime to talk bad about the federal government, made it a crime, made it harder for immigrants to become citizens. And so the Republicans saw this as an attack on free speech. And the Republicans are like, you can't tell us that we can't say these things about the government. So the Republicans saw the Alien and Sedition Acts as an attack on free speech. So because of this attack on free speech, the Republicans came up with this thing called states' rights theory. Now, this is not something I've talked a lot about in class, but basically, states' rights theory says that if a state like Kentucky or Virginia or any state doesn't like a law from the national government, they don't have to follow it, or they can quote-unquote nullify it. To nullify is to not follow it. So the states' rights theory holds that the states kind of have a little bit more power than the federal government, because if they don't like the federal government's law, they don't have to follow it. So this states' rights theory, believe me, is going to come back to be a major part of American history. So states' rights theory says that any state can deny the national government's law, which is going to be problematic, especially when it comes Civil War time. The last part of the question or test asks about the election of 1800. The election of 1800 is Jefferson versus Adams. It's the first time we've had a very contentious political, election season, and everybody's real upset. And Jefferson finally wins, and when Jefferson wins, Adams doesn't raise an army and have a rebellion against him. Adams just says, okay, you're the president now, Mr. President. Good luck. And they were able to transfer power from one group to another group without having any type of war or rebellion. It's a bloodless revolution. In America, we have our revolutions at the ballot box. We vote. And when we don't like who's in charge, we vote for the other guy. And that's a bloodless revolution. We're very special to have that. On that note, good luck, God bless you, and God bless America.